once I started him, me and him started arguing. And after we started arguing, we started fighting.
So this parole hearing starts with a very serious conviction. Bobby Williams is serving a 50-year sentence for attempted second-degree murder after a 2004 shooting connected with a drug transaction and subsequent altercation. More than 2 decades later, the board has to decide who is in front of them now. They'll hear about remorse, sobriety, prison work, mentorship, and a support system waiting outside. Watch how the board weighs harm against rehabilitation. My name is Dan. This is the Courtroom Files. Peace.
Parole Board is called back to order. My name is Pete Freeman. I am the acting chair. Along with me on Zoom is Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. We're here now for the hearing on Bobby Williams. Mr. Williams, please state your name and DOC number for the record.
Bobby Williams, 422-427.
Okay. Mr. Williams, here to support you today, we have Ms. Hutchinson, your attorney. You want to introduce yourself for the record, Ms. Hutchinson?
Absolutely. Adrienne Hutchinson, attorney for the Louisiana Parole Project, here representing Mr. Bobby Williams.
Okay, then you'll have Mr. Kerry Myers from the Parole Project speaking on your behalf. Alexandria Rochelle, I hope that's right, sister.
Alfred.
Okay, we'll be speaking. Fred Sanders, a childhood friend, is here in support. Kristen Carter is here, your daughter. Alfred Rochelle, the father, will be speaking. Stacy Williams, wife, is here in support. Calvin Henderson is a friend in support. And Alejandra Angel, Parole Project, here in support. Chastity Acree, Parole Project, here in support. Stacy Williams, your wife, who will also be speaking. And Barbara Terrell, your son-in-law. Did I get everybody?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read some information into record and then we'll get started. I've been assigned your case, Mr. Williams, so I'll be doing the interview. Mr. Williams, you're a third-class offender. Your parole eligibility date is 3/4/26. Your adjusted diminution of sentence date is 5/1/2040. And your full term date is 10/26/53. You're serving a total of 50 years for the charge of attempted second-degree murder. Does that sound correct, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, I want you to tell me, what did you do to get yourself put in prison? And tell us the whole thing. Now, we have everything. So tell us, what did you do to get yourself put there and what you've done since you've been at it that should make us feel safe that you can go back into the community?
On the night of September 20th, 2004, my co-defendant, Ronald Banks, had called me and said that someone wanted to get 9 ounces of cocaine. And he asked me where I was, and I told him I was at my mother's house. He can come get me. So that night when he came, got me. We stopped at a store, and my other co-defendant, Adrian Minor, he had got in the car and he rode us to Bunker, Louisiana. We rode to Bunker, Louisiana. My co-defendant, by me not knowing the guys, my co-defendant stopped and he met his stepbrother in some apartments, and we went to his stepbrother's house where him and Mr. Patrick Green and his stepbrother, they all went inside the house to do the drug transaction. I stayed in the car, but I had got out the car that night when we drove all the way down there because we was in another parish. I got out to use the bathroom. And when I got out to use the bathroom, by the time they was coming out, Mr. Green, I started Mr. Green by being on the side of the house using the bathroom. And once I started him, me and him started arguing. And after we started arguing, we started fighting. And once we started, in the midst of us fighting, I shot him. I shot him one time. And then I ran away. Then I ran out after that.
That is correct. You did tell us the whole story. Okay. Now tell me what you've done that we should feel that you'll be safe in the community and no danger?
Mr. Freeman, I've taken multiple classes, and I knew I needed a moral compass to get myself together. I've taken substance abuse, I took an anger management twice, and I've taken thinking for a change and victim impact. And in my substance abuse, I learned about relapse prevention, because I had caught a write-up in 2015 for Mojo, and that's when my aunt died, and I tried to use that as a clutch for my drug addiction, because I know that I will forever be an addict. And then I really straightened myself out when my mother died. By me being at the barracks, I didn't help to facilitate AANA. And I knew that I was powerless over my addiction, and I knew that I had to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. And by me going to weekly classes, I had someone to talk to if it was something bothering me, or I even had a sponsor, that Mr. Bob, that comes off the street, that supports our AANA. And I knew that I was trying to get myself totally correct and right. And I also took anger management twice, because Green's death, that was the cause of his death, for my anger. And I learned in there the power of pause. Because if I would have just paused and we just could have talked about it and got an understanding, that would have never happened that night. And I understand that when I took my last class that I just taken, victim impact, I learned that I left a lifelong ripple effect on his family, the pain that I caused his mother and his daughter. And I have found a strict plan to maintain my sobriety. I plan to go to classes 2 times a week. And what I have done some research, and I see that you can take classes online also. So if I'm at work offshore or working on the railroad, I can still attend meetings while I'm at work when I'm off. I set this plan down, and I learned to use I have learned now to use my support system.
Correct.
I have a wonderful wife. I have my dad, my sister, my daughter, my mother-in-law, and my 5 grandkids, because I am a grandfather, and I love those grandkids, and they make me smile every time I see them. And I truly hate that Mr. Green had to lose his life for me to get my life back together. And I thought about it every day at that sentencing, that I thought about his mother and the words that I was listening to the words that she was saying. And I could hear the pain in her voice and the hurt that I had taken her son. I seen his daughter was there too. And her birthday was coming up, and it was hard. And I know it's gonna be hard for her to know when she get older why her dad's not at her birthday, why her dad won't be at her graduation, different milestones in her life. And I'm truly sorry for that pain that I caused that family.
Okay. All right, let's get to some of your supporters, and we're going to hear from them. Ms. Hutchinson, I think you would like to go last.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Okay, let's hear first from Mr. Kerry Myers of the Parole Project.
Good morning, Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project, here on behalf of Bobby Williams. Now, we were here 2 years ago when Bobby had his hearing. We continued to support Bobby, to believe in Bobby. At Bobby's last hearing, this board commended him for the work he's done, his rehabilitative work, and obviously recognized that Bobby needed some more time. Here we are 2 years later. Bobby has continued to maintain an excellent conduct record. His job is at the airport, maintaining state police aviation equipment. That's a very trusted position. Bobby continues to apply his commitment to his sobriety by leading AA and NA meetings, and as you heard, has a plan to to maintain his sobriety through a support system. Parole Project will assist with that support system upon his release. We'll also, after 22 years plus of incarceration, Parole Project obviously understands Bobby's needs. We will help him through that transition, not only just through the transitional housing program, where he'll learn skills such as financial management, technology, social norms. He'll have a mentor guiding him through this process. We'll also continue to work with Bobby throughout the year and maintain contact with Bobby to assist him through his transition. Not only that, Parole Project obviously understands that and it is our motto that once a client, always a client. Bobby will always have the support of Parole Project if needed. Again, Bobby has done, since his last hearing, he's completed multiple additional programming, self-help programming, thinking for a change. Bobby's an excellent candidate. This is a perfect example of how corrections does work. Bobby is now mature, focused, sober, and ready to come home. We would like this board to consider those factors and grant Bobby his parole today.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay. Okay, next we're gonna hear from Miss Alexandria Rochelle.
We have Mr. Alfred.
Okay, they see they had her to speak and I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, it's his father.
That's what I just,
Mr. Alfred.
okay. All right, Mr. Alfred.
First thing, good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of my son, Bobby Williams, I've been in his life since he was 5 years of age. Through his lifetime, I played a role in his athletic ability. He participated in sports. I also got a chance to coach him 4 years of high school, both football and baseball. As a young man growing up, church-going young man, we know he directed himself in the direction that he wanted to go, not the direction that his mom and I sensed in him going in. That's church-wise, playing-wise, friend-wise, love-wise, neighborhood-wise, because he was a neighborhood guy that everybody flocked to the house. We had to keep the kitchen closed a lot of times, because when they can't eat, because we done a lot of cooking. But on behalf of me as his father, I want to say that Bobby has made a big change in his life. We followed him from the very first time of all this incident happened. We chased him up and down the highway, making sure we were present. His mom's not here. She's been, this coming September, be 3 years. But her thing to me and to him, that stay together, love one another, and do the best you can. And when the grandchild came into existence, that was a big difference for me. She tells me all the time, I'm the oldest and I'm the first. And that's Bobby's daughter. And I want to say to behalf of the parole committee that Bobby's been a great guy to me. He's been a father figure to me. And I might be considered a stepfather, but I'm his father. The 5 years mean a lot in anybody's life. And I came a long way with him, and he came a long way with me. Because not only did he participate in sport, he participated in a lot of other things outside the community. You know, he was our outgoing guy. He was in the National Guard. He worked offshore. His dad would drive him 4.5 hours one way to make sure he got to his job and drove back to go to school to teach the next morning. So I've done a great thing for him because I know he saw some things in me and I saw some things in him. So I hope and pray that whatever's been done here today will be a great thing for him and society. And I know that he will make a great impact when he do come back to society, and he will be a great influence to other young men and other young people in the city of Allegheny itself. Those are my words today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming. Okay, let's go to Miss Stacy Williams, his wife.
Morning.
Good morning.
I am Stacy, Bobby's wife. I have known Bobby since we were in high school. We dated as teenagers, but eventually our lives went in different directions after high school. I attended college for a couple of years before joining the United States Air Force. Today, I'm a 100% service-connected veteran, disabled veteran. and have proudly served as a nurse for over 21 years. Although life took us down separate paths for many years, God brought us back together. For more than 20 years, Bobby has lived with the consequences of his past decisions. Through all of those years, I have had the opportunity to witness the incredible man Bobby has become. Bobby is not the same man that entered prison over 2 decades ago. He is a changed man, remorseful for the pain and harm he caused. Instead of letting his incarceration define him, he chose to transform his life. During his incarceration, Bobby has completed numerous rehabilitative programs focused on personal growth, emotional healing, coping skills, and preparing for a successful return to society. He has also facilitated many of those programs and has encouraged other men to make positive changes in their lives. This shows that he has accepted responsibility for his past and his harmful actions, and now desires to help others avoid the mistakes he made. Over the years, I have watched Bobby become a loving, patient, compassionate, sincere man. We have a blended family with 2 sons and 2 daughters, 4 granddaughters, and a newborn grandson. I have created a beautiful home where Bobby can begin this next chapter in life. Bobby has a loving father, sister, niece, and nephew who has stood beside him throughout these years. My hope is that he will be able to come home, adjust to life outside of prison, together with our family, where he can be focused on being a grandfather to his 5 grandbabies and taking the necessary time to begin his footing with our help to ensure his long-term success and stability. We have a network of support focused on his continued success. My parents are both ministers who have dedicated years of service to working with our parish, jail, and reentry programs. Their guidance and experience will provide another layer of encouragement, accountability, and support as Bobby transitions back into the community. Our entire family is committed to helping him succeed. As a family, we have sought out programs in our area to help support Bobby's transition home, should he be granted. We've connected mobile crisis program for sobriety support, and although Bobby and I are married, we never have truly lived as husband and wife. And we recognize that building a life together after so many years apart will require patience, understanding, and commitment. We've already discussed participating in marriage counseling to help us adjust, strengthen our relationship, and build a healthy foundation for our future and our combined family. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Okay, Captain, I'm looking at you and I think I skipped over you, so I'm gonna let the captain speak on him before I let you, Ms. Hutchinson. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Cap.
Good morning. Good morning. It's all good, brother. Mr. Alfred said something about Bobby, and it kind of struck with me how proud he is of his grandkids. He lights up when he sees those kids, man. It's a beautiful thing. But 2 things I can say about Bobby is discipline and humility. I get to work usually about 4 a.m. every day. And by the time I'm here, Bobby's on the weight pile every day. He's consistent with the things that he does every single day. He goes to work, he mentors, he helps. Recently, we had one of his work partners have an accident, and Bobby took care of that brother till he could get back on his feet. He has a job like everybody else here, but on his off time, he and another brother weed eat the fence line of our entire facility. We got 1,700 acres, by the way, and they go after it on their off time. They volunteer, they help, they do whatever they can to make this place a success. I have no doubt in my mind that given the opportunity to be a part of society, then again, Bobby will be successful. He's got an amazing family, a great support system, And with the help of the parole project, I know he'll be able to reintegrate smoothly and peacefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, Ms. Hutchinson, now we'll let you close us out on the support side.
No problem. Thank you, board, for your time and consideration of Bobby in this case. As Kerry, talked about earlier, Bobby was before this board 2 years ago. He received 1 vote to grant and 2 votes to deny. What stands out about that decision, however, is that Mr. Freeman, you and Mr. Prater both were extremely encouraging of Bobby at that hearing. Asking him not to get discouraged with the vote because he time y'all recognize that he would be able to come up in 2 more years and to continue to do the work and come back in 2 years to get him a little bit closer to the halfway mark of the sentence. At that hearing, y'all discussed, that he had shown responsibility and demonstrated genuine remorse. He had a good institutional record, and had done the necessary work to change his life. And so over the last 2 years, he's continued to do the things that you all acknowledged at that time. Obviously, to be at the barracks, you have to maintain an exceptional institutional record, as we know only 1% of the population can even go to the barracks, the prison population. He's facilitated NA and AA at the barracks, and that was kind of what he was trying to explain at the time, is that he's found that that going to a weekly program where he's able to connect with people and voice concerns or anything that he's going through as it relates to his sobriety is the method that works for him. As Captain Washington has said, he's maintained his regular work assignments, volunteers with upkeep. And so it shows you that he is not the same young man that committed the crime. And one of the things that I find about Bobby is that his insight doesn't just revolve around the crime itself. He understands that it's not just limited to the homicide, but also to the broader harm caused by the lifestyle he was living at the time of the offense, choosing to sell drugs and use drugs, and how destructive that had been to his community. He talked to you all about the fact that he understood the harm he caused, even at sentencing, right? He didn't get remorseful when parole became an option. The remorse had been there at the time when he heard the families. I know you early on, Mr. Freeman, asked about him being able to, is this a good thing for him to be able to, or why should he be given parole? How do we know that he's not a threat to the community? And outside of the record, we can look at what's been provided as far as his reentry plan. Obviously, he'd have all the services of the Louisiana Parole Project, but for Bobby particularly, his family has taught things in his particular community where Parole Project can hand off to. So having a family that's done reentry services within the jail system, and then the mobile crisis unit, which works kind of like our social work department. They provide the services, the NAAA services, the support services. They can do outpatient treatment if necessary. So he has a good handoff for his community. So today I can say obviously that Bobby hasn't just checked the boxes. He's proven the remorse. He's taken responsibility for his action. He served the additional time the board requested, and taken accountability for his crime and the problematic lifestyle that he had at the time. He has the community support that will also help him move forward, obvious employment opportunities, and a really realistic reentry plan that factors in like all those things that are looked at for public safety. And I believe that he is ready to done the work, and so we just ask that the board provide him with that parole with whatever condition y'all deem appropriate.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay, Bobby, let's get back to you. I note that you have had 7 DBs, very good, over 22 years. Your last one was in 2015. That was the Mojo, and at that time, the victim's mother is opposed. The DA, sheriff, and attorney general is opposed. My questions was mainly going to be to see that if you admitted that you fired the shot, you claim that right off the bat. You didn't try to lie about it. You you acknowledge that y'all got in a fight and you're the one that fired the shots. Like I say, I have no questions. I'm gonna refer to my fellow board members.
I have no questions.
Right?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, I'm gonna move for an executive session.
I'll second.
Ms. Renat's second.
I concur.
All right, so we're gonna go into executive session at 9:31. We'll be right back. We just want to discuss confidential matters.
All right, we are in the Wayback Machine here, and we are into TCF overtime, so we're not going to wait around for this. I'm just going to bump us forward, and we'll get our answer here.
I think the panel is ready to vote. Aye. Where's y'all house? Fine. Okay. All right. Mr. Williams is still, that's why we went discuss this so long. You're doing so great, and in time is the only thing we was back there, what's the right amount of time? You've been very honest. You've done everything we've asked you to do. So my vote today is going to be to grant to the parole project for 6 months. I know he has a house, Mr. Myers, but I want him at the parole project for 6 months. Okay, so he can adjust, and Ms. Williams, y'all can get together over there for y'all counseling and stuff. I'm sure they'll work with y'all. Okay, and that you 100% stay away from the victim or the family. Okay, I don't want you around wherever all this neighborhood where this happened. I think it was in Bunkie. I don't want you even in Bunkie. Okay. All right, that's my vote. Ms. Renatza?
I agree. I would ask that we could add special conditions once he gets settled to, and I think he indicated he wanted to do this, is to perform some community service work speaking to at-risk youth, and I'll let the parole officer determine, the number of hours that should be.
Okay, and I'm gonna add AA meetings to that also, but I know you're gonna attend. Okay, Mr. Prater?
Okay, I heard him a little over 2 years ago, and I was impressed then, but he hadn't served enough time, and for my benefit, I was hoping he wouldn't come back so quick. But he did, and in the meantime, in these 2 years, he did everything that he possibly could do in the way of his behavior and the way of the courses that he's taken, in the way of the education and everything he's trying to do. So I think it would be very unfair if we didn't give him a shot. So I'm going to concur.
Thank you. Okay, you've been granted. Your vote was 3-0. Don't let us down, Bobby. We're putting a lot of faith in you, son.
I won't let you down. And if you need your grass cut, just give me a call.
No. Oh, no.
But thank you for the offer.
Thank y'all.
So what stood out here to me was that the board didn't have to pretend the original crime was small in order to see change. Williams was serving a 50-year sentence for a violent shooting. But the board also heard more than 20 years of sobriety work, mentorship, prison conduct, and support for life after release. And that brings the hard question when it comes to parole. When does rehabilitation become strong enough to justify a second chance? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, why don't you check out one of the two that are on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching.